Hey everyone, me again. So I've been generally into firearms for probably a little over 10 years now, although really only over the last few would I have considered myself any sort of collector. But throughout all that time, one thing I've actually never had is a 1911. The reason for that mainly is that I've kind of been thinking that if I want one, I should probably just get a USGI, World War One, World War Two dated original. Uh, so I've kind of been holding out for the perfect deal on one of those. It's like they say, you want your first time to be special. Pretty sure they're talking about 1911s when they say that. But in any case, as such, I was never terribly interested in any of the modern repros like the Rock Island or these Turkish Tisas pistols. Um, just yeah, didn't really strike my fancy all that much. I mean, I saw a couple of reviews, that sort of thing. That is at least up until just a couple of weeks ago when Palmetto State was doing one of their Halloween sales, and this one-day sale they were offering these for $2.99. And I figured, okay, at that price, it would just be stupid not to. They have a pretty good reputation as far as being solidly built, reliable, so on and so forth. And so I figured, okay, why not? They may not even be around forever. Turkey's one of these countries where, I don't know, maybe we could potentially see some sort of import ban. I don't know how likely that is, but just a thought that occurred to me. So anyways, I went ahead and ordered it. Palmetto was reasonably quick to ship. It's, they have this industrial size operation. I've heard of some people having delays with them, but I actually never have. But then again, I don't order an absolute ton from them either. So it ships in a rather nice lockable hard case. It does include two magazines, one in the pistol, one outside. These are Metgar magazines, so that's a reputable brand. It's not some kind of pro mag garbage. Kind of nice that they didn't cheap out there. Also includes a bushing wrench and chamber flag, trigger lock. On the top of the case, it also has these cleaning rod, bore brush, and also there's an instruction manual. Which looks like so. I haven't bothered to read it yet, but good idea in case if you're not too familiar with how these come apart or any of that stuff that you may want to. So a lot of bells and whistles actually for only $2.99. There's also this little informational tag letting you know that the slide and the frame are forged in Series 7 and 70 rather internals. Okay, pretty cool. And then of course you get the pistol itself. So my impression as far as the pistol itself goes, in terms of build quality, I was actually genuinely very impressed. It's not the least bit like crude or sloppy. You don't see much in the way of machine marks, at least not externally and even internally. Certainly nicer finished than a lot of other pistols I've seen. So not bad in this regard. It's not the absolute smoothest, but it's by no means is it rough. And of course, I think with a bit of a break-in, it probably will end up being smooth as glass. So very, very nicely made as far as I could tell. The only kind of nitpick I could even remotely think of is the grips. These are not the original grips. The originals, they look like so. Let me get the other one here. And so this is something I've seen in a couple of other people's reviews, and I was kind of skeptical of them because they look more or less just fine. But in person, they really do feel like some kind of cheap, like toy grade plastic. I figured I'd replace them. So these are post-war USGI. They're new old stock, I guess. I think I paid, maybe $7 and change for the pair. So not exactly an expensive upgrade. And again, it doesn't really convey on video so much, but in my opinion, it actually does make a world of difference. So in terms of build quality though, I would give the whole thing a very solid A. And if you consider the price, definitely an A+. Of course, the next question is, well, how does it actually shoot? And in this regard, I was actually very impressed as well. I ended up running a grand total of 150 rounds through it. 2/3 of that, I guess 100 rounds, for those of you not mathematically inclined, was actually steel-cased ammo, trying the old Brandon Herrera wisdom as far as if it can't handle the steel, it doesn't deserve the brass. It absolutely can handle the steel, though. It ran perfectly fine with one minor exception, and that, for disclosure's sake, I bring it up. But it was, I did have a failure to feed, but it was with an aftermarket magazine. It was some sort of unbranded, gun show mystery mag type of thing. So I don't hold it against it. With the factory mags, it ran absolutely perfect. Didn't give me any problems at all. In terms of accuracy, it seems to shoot right to point of aim at 25 yards. Somewhat to my shame, I rarely shoot my pistols out beyond that, and pretty much never past 50. Maybe I should work on that. But nonetheless, I'm very happy with the way it runs. Very pleasant gun to shoot. really, like I said, hard to be happier. So obviously 150 rounds is not some sort of exhaustive torture test. I don't plan to do a torture test, really. Like I'm not going to, throw it in mud and drag it behind a truck or something like that. But I certainly plan to do some sort of a long-term update. This is a pistol I do see myself shooting a lot just because it is kind of a joy to shoot. So there definitely will be something along those lines. So this isn't like a 100% recommendation, but my initial impression so far is very, very positive. I would say if I had to come up with a conclusion, it is this, that obviously if you're going to be a serious collector, this is no substitute for the real thing, because there is no substitute for the real thing as far as collector's value goes. But if you want something that almost exactly replicates the look and feel, but you could kind of shoot the crap out of it, you can run competitions, you can use it as a trail gun, all sorts of stuff like that, without feeling bad about, putting any sort of excessive wear on a genuine valuable collectible, I think this is seems like it could be a really good option, especially for the price. Now, they're not ordinarily $299, but even at their normal price, they're usually like in the mid 300s, maybe low 400s. And even at that price, I think these would be a pretty good deal. Keep in mind it is the holiday season, so there probably will be all kinds of sales going on. So you may be able to score just as good a deal, if not better. So for the money, it's really kind of hard to be happier. Keep in mind that most of the parts will interchange with 1911 parts from elsewhere. So if something does end up breaking, as long as the bones are good, which allegedly they are, you're kind of covered there. 1911 parts are really quite common, relatively affordable. So I think it's a pretty solid choice for the money. That's pretty much all I can say. So I guess that's all this time. Thank you for watching, as always.